basically here's an update of what happened from the time I got the truck. From the last video, I got the truck. I told the driver lineup that I'm ready for the load. They assigned me a load. I told them I need to go back to New York because I need to pack up clothes and things and like that for my truck. So they gave me a load that was going to Pottsville, Pennsylvania, which is about 60 miles away from Pittston. So I said, great, that's great. In the morning, got the truck, went down to where the trailers were and tried to hook up the trailer, as you can see. All right, guys, this is the first load I got assigned. My truck is ready here, and this is the trailer that I have to hook it up to. That was fun, you know, and took the trailer to the departure gate or whatever you call that, and told them that I'm leaving for the first load. So they ask you, what do you need? So basically I would recommend getting a couple of load locks, because you need to buy them, and you need to get some anti-gel and door seals. All of that stuff you can get from that driver lineup outgoing bay. Once I got all of that stuff set up, and then I went into log into the Qualcomm with my username and password and all that messages came up of like all the drive that has been done so far. Do you want to account that to yourself? You say no, you reject it, and then it'll ask you why, and then you say reason is shop, that all those moves of the truck were in the shop, so that once you're leaving you have a clean slate, you don't have anything on your name from the truck. Ended up driving down to my first load. Now I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is, because you know, I want you to learn from some of the mistakes that I made and some of the things that you might run into. This is something that everybody will deal with. The first load is going to be really nervous. I was nervous going out, even though I've driven it in TNT and all that, but it's different when you're by yourself and you don't have a trainer there to ask you questions. Because during TNT, if you have any question like, hey, what about this, and he'll let you know, but in this situation it's different. You can't just right away ask anybody. So what happened is, when I was in TNT, most of the time, the timing or when we should run the load, when we should stop, was mostly done by my trainer. He would tell me, okay, we're gonna stop over here, we're gonna take the break over here, and I was like, oh, okay, no. But when you're by yourself, you have to figure out how long you're gonna drive and when are you gonna take the break. So I was used to taking, running the clock all the way till 8 hours and then taking a break, and then get my 3 hours back, the 30-minute break. But what happened is that I started driving, and when it came to around close to 8 hours of drive, I had to pull into a truck stop or something, and right when I was about to run into a truck stop, I couldn't find any parking there, so I had to leave it. And this is a word of caution: make sure you don't run your clock all the way to 8 hours before you try to take your 30-minute break. Plan for it beforehand. I didn't plan for it, so I ended up stopping on the side of the truck stop. I couldn't find any, and I just I think Fuel Island, I stopped there and took my 30-minute break. Now, not that this happened to me, now I should be more aware. No, not at all. I started driving again, and after 3 hours was my 11 hours were about to be over, and same thing happened. I was like, yeah, I'll find a place, you know, because with my TNT, the trainer would always go through the list, and he had his favorite truck stops. He would just select that and be like, okay, we'll go to this one and we'll stop. So I didn't really have to think about it. But in this one, my 11 hour drive was coming up towards the end. I was like, oh yeah, by the time I get there, I'll have half an hour, I'll find a truck stop. In the end, nope, didn't happen. In the evening time in the East Coast, it's very difficult to find parking. So I had 30 minutes left on my clock, and I'm looking for a truck stop. I go into the truck stop, completely full. So I wasted time driving around in the truck stop, couldn't find a parking. So when I left, I literally had maybe 15 minutes left on my clock, and I'm looking for a truck stop. So don't let that happen to you, okay? There's a word of caution. Prepare, like plan where you're gonna stop beforehand. So I ended up in the last minute, my clock ran out, so I had to find a safe place. I parked my truck there and ended up having to spend the night there. And then next morning I ended up calling logs and say, hey, I need to get to the truck stop, which is about 8 miles down the road, to can I use PC, because I didn't want to start my clock. And I explained the situation. They said, okay, yeah, you can use PC. So I used PC to go from that place to the truck stop and then pulled in over there. So word of caution, guys, trip planning, make sure where you're gonna stop for the break. You can look in the list and find which stop you're gonna break, and make sure you know in the evening time it's not gonna be very easy to find parking, so I'll, you know, account for that. Finally get to my destination after I spent 1 day driving, next day driving. In the night I stayed the night. Next morning got up, got to my 90, which is the destination, and it was supposed to be a drop and hook, and the lady said, oh yeah, drop and hook, go put it into this door. I said, oh, am I not supposed to put it where the trailers are? It's like, nope, you have to go in the door. So okay, came out, and guess what? She gave me a door that was right next to a trailer, right? There was a trailer there, but the door was next to it, and the next slot was okay, empty. I was like, okay, we can do that, no problem. So I went down, and I made a U-turn, and while coming back, as soon as I came back, there was another truck that just came and parked right next to the spot where I was supposed to park. So now both of the spots were taken next to the spot that I had to go in, so making it more difficult, and both of the trucks were really close by. So I said, all right, fine, I've done it before, let's do it. But very nervous, it's first time backing up, not my instructor is not there, nobody's there to see, and the place is busy, trucks are going back and forth, so I can't take too much time. So I tried to do my maneuver to do a 45 degrees alley dock into the place, and for whatever reason, when I tried to do the alley dock, totally forgot everything. Totally forgot everything, what angle, how much to turn, and all that stuff. So I'm like backing up straight, and my trailer is going straight, and I can't see the guy in the back, and I'm like getting nervous. All these trucks are stopped right next to me. The yard jockeys are like honking their horn, like come on, come on, and I'm like trying to back up. So it was it's my wife. You know, when the wife calls, you have to take it. Anyway, so I went all wrong, and I got nervous. I totally forgot what I was doing, so I couldn't stop anymore. So I left, let everybody pass by, and did a reset. Went back again, came back to the, and before I came, I had literally, guys, I stopped. I went through a video. This is real life. So I stopped at the corner. I watched the video of backing up into the alley dock, and I was like trying to figure out where I went wrong, And it's like, oh, of course, I totally at that time I zoned out. I forgot about where you have to turn and how do you have to turn. So when I literally watched a video right there in the truck, and then went set up again. And this time when I did it, after 2 or 3 pull-ups, I ended up putting it in the dock perfectly. So hey, your first time always going to be a situation. So, but here's the cherry on top. I ended up leaving the trailer there, left, and guess what? 20-30 miles down the road, I just remembered I left my lock on the trailer. My brand new $60 lock that I just put on the trailer, I forgot to take it off because they told me, don't worry about opening the door, just back it in, we'll open the door ourselves. So when I left the trailer, I was like, let me just get out of here. So I didn't even think about, oh yeah, let me take my lock off the trailer. So I called them up. They said, don't worry about it, we'll cut the lock. So it turned out okay, but it's first time there, so you're gonna run into that stuff too. So I'm just letting you know, this is real life. When you're doing it by yourself, it's a little bit more nervous. When you have your instructor with you, somebody's there. If something goes wrong, he'll jump in and help out. But when you're by yourself, you have to do it yourself. But I almost came this close to stopping and asking a yard jockey to come in and help me. But then I'm so glad I didn't, because that's the time where you have to, when the pressure is on, you have to make it happen, and that's where you'll learn. So I'm so glad I didn't ask the guy to help me, and I just ended up backing it up myself, even though I made a couple of mistakes and all that stuff, but it ended up being okay. So guys, that was my first load. I dropped it off and then came back to Pittston. Right here in Pittston, I have my wife coming in to pick me up, so I'll go home for home time. This is not for you young single guys, who just get the truck and now they are gonna be on the road for a month and they don't have to worry about it. For us old folks who have kids and wives and all that stuff, for them, you have to go back home, make sure everything is taken care of and everything is set, and then you're gonna be on the road for the next 2-3 weeks. So I'm going back to New York to get all my stuff, and I'm setting up my truck. Stay tuned for my truck tour video. That's gonna be awesome. So I'm setting up my truck. Once everything is set up, I'll make a video of that. So hey, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.